Holy shit, guys. This is pretty crazy. So we got another sneak peek. We got our third sneak peek for this upcoming update, and things have just been flipped on their heads. I don't know what kind of update this is shaping up to be, but I do know one thing. This update is shaping up to be absolutely insane in terms of the amount of character content there's going to be at the very least, but there's going to be a lot. So what am I babbling on about? So yeah, let's just check out the sneak peek and see. It's very straightforward, but it also opens many doors and windows. So here we go. We got the October sneak peek number 3. I've heard that a group of mutants has teamed up to create a new team. Based on the intel I gathered, Scarlet Witch and Rogue are behind the creation of this new team. No flippin' way. I need to gather more information about why this team was created. So this is humongous. Yeah, so oh boy, I wish I could show you guys my face right now. I will absolutely. Hopefully I'll be home soon and I can do we can go back to the original. Anyways, like, I want you guys to see my reaction, but just try to imagine my reaction, guys, because I am so hyped. We're getting Hoodie Rogue. We're getting level 70 Rogue. We might even be getting tier 3 Rogue. I am ecstatic. I'm over the moon. You know what? Just as hype as I would be for Crescent or White Fox tier 3, I would also be super hype for Rogue tier 3. Now, I know it's another mutant, so that does rub some people the wrong way, because usually mutant updates are far apart because we have a cap on the number of feathers, so that is something to consider, but this is gigantic. Now, for those of you wondering what actually is going on here, you can also see what appears to be some 3 creepy faces in the background of this image. So we're going to talk about who those people are, but you can see right now that there is at least the guarantee of 2 brand new uniforms, one for Rogue and one for Scarlet Witch. Now, in Scarlet Witch's case, you can see that it's very similar to the existing base kit that she has in Marvel Future Fight. The difference is that instead of having that light pink shoulder to forearm situation, with her clavicle and stuff like that, she has nothing. So it's a little bit more revealing. It's a little bit more adult. I like it. It's hot. It's spicy. And you know what? I'm totally down with characters going back to their roots in terms of a more classic look for Scarlet Witch, because she's had the Infinity War uniform for over 2 years now. So it's time to or actually not over 2 years. I guess like a year and change. Anyways, it's felt like 2 years. It felt like a long time, because literally everyone purchased this uniform as soon as it was made available. So it'll be interesting to see how much they buff her up by. Additionally, specifically for Scarlet Witch, I want to point something out here, and I want to get your sort of crowdsourced information. It was pointed out to me that by someone on Discord named Amit, so shout out to him, that apparently Scarlet Witch's ability and also Weapon Hex's ability, the right here, the Chaos Magic, which is sort of a counter to Phoenix Force characters, which now we have a lot more of with the last Phoenix Force update. Apparently this was buffed up to 15-15, so decreased damage received by 15% from Phoenix Force characters. That includes new Namor, Colossus, Magic, Emma Frost, and Cyclops, and it increases damage dealt to them from skills. So she could become an extremely viable counter to those characters, in addition to big bad old Jean Grey, who of course still has the I would assume still has the Phoenix Force, still has the Phoenix Force ability. So that's a pretty huge buff if that's the case. I'm not 100% sure though, so that's why I wanted to crowdsource that from you guys. But now let's take a look and let's talk about what is going on here. So these looks for Rogue and Scarlet Witch, specifically Rogue, it's a lot easier to pin Rogue down because she's had fewer looks as similar as this one, whereas Scarlet Witch has had this look a lot. This is from the run of Uncanny Avengers. So there's actually a lot to look up. If you look up Uncanny Avengers, there's tons of issues, there's tons of tie-ins, there's tons of side stuff. So I'll just throw some stuff at you guys and see what you think. So here's the first one: The Witch is Back, and I think it's a pretty apt sort of subtitle there at the top, or sort of like yes, a subheading, because this suits very well with what's going on in Marvel Future Fight. It is a different look for Scarlet Witch, but it is what we're basically looking at for Rogue, specifically with the white trim on green look. I guess the gloves would be the only difference. But then we have a little bit more here. So I want to talk about this here. So check this out. This is Uncanny Avengers. Again, there's a lot to talk about with Uncanny Avengers. I don't think we're going to be getting anything for Human Torch or Deadpool. But you can see Rogue there in the background. And then you can see a very familiar face. That is the current Quicksilver uniform. So that's another thing that I want to bring up. The two characters in the background, if we go back to the sneak peek, I know we're kind of jumping around a lot here, but if we go back to the sneak peek, those three characters in the background, on the left of Rogue, in the yellow, that's OG Vision. In the middle, the alien looking dude, that's Quicksilver, but it's a different look than we have in the game. And then on the right side, on the far right next to Scarlet Witch, that's Sabretooth. And again, these are all the Uncanny versions. So the Uncanny Vision is very, very visually similar to this one. So presumably we're going to be getting the rework for Vision. And we're going to be getting a new uniform that looks very much like this. So I'm down for that. I'm there for that. Or I'm here for that. Additionally, Quicksilver, so we have the Marvel Legacy, the sort of Marvel Legacy Uncanny Avengers version of Quicksilver in the game already. This purple one, this sort of the Barney one. We also have the classic. The one that I want to show you guys is neither of these versions. It's actually a completely different version that you can see here in this comic. And this one actually has the most similar looks. This is probably the issue that is most inspiring Marvel Future Fight right now, or at least one of the issues. So you can see there you have OG Vision, which is pretty much the exact same as the one behind Rogue. You have Quicksilver on the far right, which is those large blue eyes. He's wearing these goggles. And you can look up Uncanny Avengers Quicksilver and you'll find a ton of images of him in purple. And you'll find a ton of images of him in this sort of like Arctic white suit with these blue goofy goggles. That's the one that you see in the background of the sneak peek that we just got. And then of course you see Wanda in the middle there with the classic Wanda look with the helmet. And then you see, of course, Rogue to her right. On the left, now here's what I want to talk about. We could be seeing a new uniform for Falcon, which is quite interesting. We also see, it looks like Sabretooth is flying, but Sabretooth is up there at the top left, sort of jumping in. He looks like kind of like a mixture between Sabretooth and Old Man Logan. And then, curiously, in the middle, we have Brother Voodoo, which I'm extremely, like, over the moon for. And I also teased Brother Voodoo right here. Next to Deadpool, which is quite wild. Now, the possibility of us getting Brother Voodoo has me in complete stitches. So, you know, there's a lot of characters. Literally, there's a lot. From Uncanny Avengers, we can't really assume that much. If we're just talking about the original run here, or if we're just talking about these like 1 or 2 issues, like for example here, then yeah, there's not as much that you can, there's not as many characters that you can pull out of it. But Brother Voodoo is one of them, which would be absolutely bonkers. And then of course Sabretooth and Falcon. Otherwise, you know, characters like Havoc, there's so many characters that they can pull out for Uncanny Avengers. A lot of them are X-Men, but a lot of them are just other characters that would in this case be, you know, regular or native tier 2 black antimatter type characters. So it'll be interesting to see how much bigger this update gets. Right now, if we take this sneak peek to, like if we assume that this sneak peek is including all 5 of these characters, we've got 8 new uniforms. That's right, I just said 8 new uniforms and 2 new characters. The 2 Agents of Atlas, the 3 Agent of Atlas uniforms, and then these 5 new uniforms, which is pretty insane. And it also bundles together the rework for Vision, which basically means that we're getting 3 new characters at minimum, because if they're doing a base rework for Vision, he's going to turn into and transform into a brand new character. So that's pretty exciting stuff. I'm blown away. I'm shocked. I'm speechless. I don't really know what to say. But as far as Sabretooth goes, yeah, he's pretty good. But could he get a uniform and become even better? Sure. Should they keep him as a supervillain? Absolutely. I hope they don't change him into a hero. As far as Quicksilver goes, you know what? He's still on the cusp of the meta. It'll be very interesting to see how much stronger he gets with his uniform. He could become the de facto Jean Grey killer from now on, so that uniform might become a must-buy immediately if he gets it. If he is getting a uniform, assuming, you know, I don't think they would tease at this point. It would be very bizarre for them and very bad PR for them to tease Vision, knowing that they let us vote on Vision for a rework and then not give us Vision. So if they're giving us Vision in that teaser, they're probably giving us Quicksilver and Sabretooth as well. The only thing I do want to point out for you guys is that in the case of Luna Snow and Crescent, those are both, you know, much more difficult characters to upgrade their uniforms for because you can't get their biometrics readily. And then in the case of Sabretooth, he is a crystal character, so also you can't get his biometrics easily. So that does make him a better target, along with, like, Sabretooth, Luna Snow, and Crescent would all be great targets for uniform upgrade tickets. And then Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are going to be expensive upgrades because of the fact that their uniforms cost black antimatter to upgrade, and they cost gold and Chaos Nornstones. And then that only leaves Rogue, White Fox. Actually, White Fox would be like Sabretooth as well. So that only leaves Rogue and Vision as sort of your normal upgradable uniforms. So a lot of uniforms, but a lot of uniforms that either need biometric subscriptions or lots of crystals to upgrade, or tickets. So I think what I'm trying to say is, if this is Netmarble's, you know, if this is Netmarble's strategy, these tickets are going to become a lot more valuable in the future. So my advice to you immediately is save as many of these tickets as you possibly can. Don't spend them. Don't dare spend them on any characters that don't that you could farm their biometrics for, because, you know, we're getting uniforms soon for characters that you can't farm their biometrics for. So it's absolutely imperative that you do that. In addition to the fact that if you do get a rare uniform upgrade ticket from the Cosmic Core event, because we still have 2 days, you may want to just keep it. It's not the best reward, of course. It's not CCF. It's not any of the tier 3 materials. It's of course not a mega tier 2 ticket, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. You know, as the company changes its directive a little bit, or as certain characters get uniforms, you know, we thought that certain things would trickle in over time. But if there's going to be, you know, an en masse targeting of these more rare uniforms, and if they're all going to happen sort of back to back to back, then it's up to the player base to be wiser, a lot wiser about spending those uniform upgrade tickets. Personally, I've been a bit careless, not too careless, but, you know, I really didn't have to use uniform upgrade tickets, for example, on Colossus, and I did. And now I'm not regretting it, but I'm kind of regretting it, because I can farm Colossus bios. Yet, you know, I didn't know about the faction event, but on top of that, there are other ways to farm Colossus bios. It's not a lot of bios per day, but it is guaranteed, whereas, you know, characters like Crescent and Sabretooth, there are 0 bios guaranteed per day unless there's some sort of super rare event. So yeah, I wanted to give that PSA to you guys, and I wanted to gauge your reaction and your interest. This is pretty insane, quite hype. This is looking like a absolutely massive update, and so many characters are getting reworked that needed it, especially Rogue and Vision and Crescent. But also White Fox and possibly Sabretooth and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It's just wild. So I'm very, very, very happy. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again soon. Take care.